Before I begin, just one minor edit to the roadmap. Before moving on to the on-case arguments, I am going to make one argument on the disadvantage. I will begin now. On the disadvantage, because the Diet has currently extended its session until September 9th, that means that it has time to debate the increase in the consumption tax. That means that the increase will pass later, and doing it now is a bad idea. Our evidence comes from the Japan Times on May 20th, 2012. Quote, even if the meeting is held, they would be unlikely to bridge their differences immediately. An extension until the end of the year is now in the spotlight because such a move would help delay lower house votes on the consumption tax bills, unquote. I will now move on to the case arguments. We have 4 of them that we would like to extend. First, extend the 1NC number 1 argument about capital flight. Our opponents never answer the capital flight argument. They only say that Japanese people will continue to consume even if there is an increase in the consumption tax. But our RIMCUS evidence indicates nothing about Japanese individuals. It only talks about Japanese businesses. What will happen if we do the affirmative plan is that Japanese businesses who are seeing an increased cost of doing business will start to offshore their production. So it will go to places like South Korea, China, Australia. So if I am in the business of producing Beyonce CDs, and it costs me more to do that, then I'm going to find a cheaper place to do that. That is exactly the type of thinking that the affirmative plan will promote. Next, extend our argument that a 2% increase in the consumption tax isn't sufficient. Our Hayashi evidence says that even if we did a 5% increase, that wouldn't be enough. But they don't do a 5% increase, they only do a 2% increase. So first they say, it's such a small increase that it won't make a difference. But then they say it's such a huge increase that it's going to be able to pay for pension? Does that make sense to you? Because it doesn't make sense to me. We think that having a 5% increase wouldn't even be enough. And this is especially true given the first argument we made about the capital flight, because any increase in revenue will be offset by the decrease in business being conducted in Japan. Next, extend our argument that the Japanese government is resilient. The only response that the affirmative makes is that the Japanese government, or the Japanese economy, is important. We agree it's important. We obviously want Japanese people to have all the yen in the world. But what we're arguing is that there isn't a high risk of a debt crisis now because the Japanese government is able to rebound from shocks. Unless they are able to prove otherwise, then you have no reason to believe that the economic impacts they cite are going to happen. Finally, extend our argument that whether or not the Japanese government issues bonds is unimportant. The question to resolve in today's debate is how Japan pays for its social security or public pension. Whether or not they increase or decrease the amount of bonds that are issued is not important, and you should not consider it in the debate. Thank you.